Hello and welcome back to Mr. Chalmers Teaching from Home within the New Zealand curriculum. Today I'm going to look at fractions, decimals and percentages. So in level 2, years 3 and 4, students would only be introduced to basic fractions, I think. But in level 3, years 5 and 6, they start to look at all three and the relationship that exists between those three. So I'm going to attach a video. Unfortunately it's American, very much shows through both of them actually. However, there are some points I do like about it. As for Professor Dave's video, he talks about the some of those finer points about what's happening when we're doing conversions, about the importance of zeros that may or may not be expressed in the number that we're given, the position of the decimal point, and I think that helps solidify if there's just a little bit of a gap of understanding of what's happening, to make sense of the conversion and understand it, and not just achieve the number or have a greater likelihood of making errors from glossing over things like the importance of placing the decimal point in the right place. The other video, he answers the generational question of the student in a mathematics class, when will we ever use this in real life, and gives quite a few examples. Their text number is different than ours, but the concept's the same, so I quite like that. Both of these videos I don't think would be standalone. I don't think you could show your child the video and say familiarize yourself with this topic, or maybe this will help you with your exercises for math from school. In particular, Dave goes too fast, and I think the idea there is he's probably catching up adults, or maybe the same again for parents that are trying to teach, making sure that they have a full grasp and understanding before they carry on to explain it to students or their children. And there's a good resource which I'm struggling to find. There are flashcards that have all four, including the fourth one is a visual representation of the number. So each of those has 100 grids or blocks or whatever, and depending on the fraction percentage, the number's shaded in to represent that. So each one has a corresponding a number within the pack, and then basically they could look to line up 25 cubes shaded out of 100 with 25%, and what's the fraction would be 1/4 if you boil that down, and the decimal would be 0.25. So hopefully on TradeMe or something, there's some basic resources I've found, but I think that would probably be the best one of some of them available, if I can find it. So I'll link that later if I can. And yeah, I think do try to use some visual aids, physical aids for fractions if we're in the stage of teaching it, that it's new and trying to get their head around. It is actually a fairly abstract concept. Numbers smaller than 1, and that can be the bit that's difficult to say. You've told me you want me to tell you what the decimal is for this fraction. I've done that, and maybe it's a mimicking rather than an understanding what's happening in the numbers world. And I think it's probably a critical junction when one can conceptualize in their mind what's happening with those numbers, because we do get to a point where we can't immediately know that 25% is 1/4, and that's very helpful. If we can assist that by having a something attached to that in our mind, that we know that it's a quarter of anything, whatever you're looking at, it's a quarter of something. And I think that 25 blocks of 100 blocks shaded in is a good way of, because it lines up with the concept of percentage, which is out of 100. So they kind of all are on this same expression, and starting from that point can possibly reduce confusion. Hope that's been helpful. Have a great day.